Well, good morning, everybody. It's Patty here. This article comes from Anti-Corporation Society. Destroying media and other propaganda campaigns using non-compliance. Because we have different perceptions, different ads or messages have to be created to convince us all that black is white and white is black. Example, fluoridated water is good for you. Going into debt for new toys will enhance your life. And the politicians in Washington are looking out for your best interest. And the military's role in the Afghanistan drug trade is necessary for national security. Propaganda. Publicly distributed messages for information to convince folks that black is white and white is black, or that something that is not desirable to them or is in their best interest is. Once we understand that the media is the mechanism used to convince the public that black is white and white is black, we can start reversing the impact the perception management team has on us. So it is important to understand the goal of most of our corrupt politicians is to manufacture our consent via spin, framing, or general deception. The media, for the most part, has become a device to manipulate the population, and the goal? To overcome the innate wisdom and common sense of the general population and get them to comply. Get them to comply. Or even promote that which is not in their best interest, but serves the goals of the controlling profiteers. The creation of the message or spin. A documentary about this topic is the BBC documentary Century of Self. It tracks the history of Freud's nephew, Ed Bernays, and his creation of the public relations propaganda history. Another more recent but equally as fabulous documentary on propaganda, specifically in the United States, is Psywar. This industry has become so commonplace that the general population no longer thinks of those working in public relations as propagandists, so does not have the disdain for them that they should, creating deceptions, lies, to manufacture consent, get compliance, or sell products is not an honorable profession. Never has been, and never will be. If you are reading this and work in public relations or advertising, understand you are not being an honorable person when you engage in public deception for money. Boy, that should go out to a lot of YouTube channels, shouldn't it? You are not being honorable when you're not being an honorable person when you engage in public deception for money. The creation of successful propaganda requires gathering information from the public so that their objections or resistance to harmful policies such as NAFTA can be clearly identified, and propaganda can be cunningly created to overcome or dispel them. Whether or not the propaganda campaign is successful is determined by the relentless polling of the target population the propagandists are trying to reach. Unfortunately, there are professional psychologists hired to aid in analyzing the public's responses and assist in the manufacturing of the propaganda campaigns. These psychologists are not honorable people. Basically, without propaganda, the corrupt ones would have no way to overcome wisdom and common sense. we would ask questions and ascertain for ourselves whether government policies are in our best interests or not. Corruption cannot survive without deception, which is why there is so much ongoing demonizing of folks trying to expose corruptions and lies by labeling them as truthers, as if they were the dishonorable people. Black is white, white is black. Tools for today's propaganda campaigns. Again, the Century of Self does a great job exploring how these tools are used by the propagandists to manufacture consent. Some of the tools devices used are polls, surveys, questionnaires, and petitions, town hall or community meetings, focus groups, voting records, products purchased, social networks like Facebook, etc., discussion forums on websites. Next time you receive a poll, look at it as a device to get information from you to better exploit or manipulate you. Black is white, white is black. There is a lot that can be learned by analyzing polls. First, we must understand that a lot of money is spent creating and administering the poll. Polling has actually become a science. American Association for Public Opinion Research. Okay. If you think this industry and the enormous amount of money they are paid to find out what you think is done out of great concern for your general welfare, see footnote number 2. Footnote number 2. Get out of your chair, go into the kitchen, turn on the cold water, splash it on your face for 1 full minute, and wake the bleep up. Okay. Back to where I was. Oh, okay. The questions on the poll are carefully selected and worded. Framed. They're framed. In political polls, the questions are worded to convince you the issues they are asking about are indeed the most important ones that need to be addressed. In reality, the questions reflect the political agenda for which they are seeking public input so they can manufacture consent to support it. Generally, their questions are not about the issues that matter most to you, but the poll is a part of an effort to convince you they are. All right. From Meet the Pollsters 4309. Elements of Obama's approach bears the hallmarks of message testing, like the introductions of the words recovery, reinvestment, to rebrand the stimulus package, and aides said the polling has focused almost entirely on selling policy, not on measuring the president's personal appeal. A source familiar with the data said a central insight of more recent polling had been that Americans see no distinction between the budget and the popular spending measures that preceded it, and that the key to selling the budget has been to portray it as part of the recovery measures. In addition, your willingness to fill out and return their poll is analyzed statistically. If they get a 75% return out of 100,000 sent out, they conclude that 75,000 people continue to think the organization paying for the poll is a legitimate enterprise concerned with the public good. Next, they look at the specifics of the 25,000 who didn't cooperate and analyze their demographics. They now have a group to target with the next round of media propaganda. Polling is also done by corporations to aid them in the creation of marketing campaigns. Corporations have absolutely no directive to better society, no matter what the perception managers say. Their only directive is to make profits. So if you're tired of being manipulated, deceived, and harmed by Government Incorporated and Business Inc., stop giving them the ammunition information they need to do it. Never, ever answer or return polls, questionnaires, or surveys. Do not aid in the creation of propaganda campaigns designed to manipulate, deceive, or harm the general population. And on that note, I'm going to say amen. Very true words. And I thank you all for watching. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Thank you.